This clip is from the Boundary Riders podcast, and if you do enjoy this, then make sure to check out the full episode out every single Wednesday morning on YouTube and Spotify. But now to the big reason why I bring up AFL26, which of course brings us to our fan favourite segment, the Flog of the Week is back. The studio who is running AFL26 is of course Big Ant Studios. They will be receiving the Flog of the Week nomination this week. Now, I have to bring up this first because people get angry if you don't, but I do believe this. First of all, I hope this game is really good. I really do. I want to play an AFL game that is good. AFL 23 was not, which we'll get to in a moment, but AFL 26, I want it to be a good game. I want to have a game to play that I have I have nostalgic memories of the AFL games back in 2006, 2007 that I used to play. I used to thrash out those games playing the coaching mode, whatever it was called, and you could just coach up your team forever. I was the Sydney Swans and used to trade in players that were like really good. I used to remember changing the squads around just to have the players that were playing for Sydney currently at the time and just playing that forever. I love those games, but we haven't had a good one in a while. And with AFL 23, oh boy, was that a letdown. So I just want a good AFL sports game. Now, I also get the AFL as a whole is to base a game on the AFL sport is difficult. It's such a unique sport. There's no reference point that Big Ant Studios can really use for an AFL game from like a big American studio like EA or 2K or something like that. They have to use, they have to work on the game for themselves. There's no other reference point. And I understand as well that Big Ant Studios isn't a massive EA type or 2K. It's a gaming studio here in Australia, which is very weird and very different, and it's not EA level. So I understand the game's not going to be as good as a FIFA or EA, whatever it's called now, EAFC or 2K, game or whatever. However, in saying that, if you're going to be releasing a game at AAA price, you bet your ass you give us some sort of product that's at least somewhat that worth that price tag. This game is releasing at $89 at JB Hi-Fi. I haven't been able to find it on the PlayStation Store yet, so I don't know if you can pre-order it. If you can on the PlayStation Store, let me know. I remember buying the AFL 23 game for, I think, $109. The game was unplayable. You're releasing this game at a full price at JB Hi-Fi, for the disc version, by the way. So I have a PlayStation. I don't have the disc version. I can't get the disc version of the game. I have to get it off the PlayStation Store, which means I am locked to whatever they make the price on PlayStation. It was $100 odd last time when I got the game on release for AFL 23, which was delayed, by the way. The game was unplayable. You delayed the release, which is fine. I would much rather you delay the release of a game if you release it good. But you released the game in such a shocking state. People were playing it on stream and saying, this must not, players who got early access to it were saying, they must have given us a different version. This is dog shit. And I think it was Cardman or whatever it was, went to the old AFL game to play on stream because the AFL 23 was so poor. So, I'm just bagging on AFL 23 at the moment, but I'm getting to a point here. The fact that this game is coming out in a couple of days' time, and you have shown next to no gameplay of this game is shady as fuck. You have released less than 5 minutes of gameplay for your new game, and the game releases at an $89 price tag in a day or two. That is shady as fuck. By my opinion, you can disagree all you want. I think that is shady as shit. You should not be allowed to do that, especially when your game released so poorly, your previous installment of the AFL gaming franchise, whatever you want to call it, okay? You can release all the screenshots you fucking want about the different statistics in the game, the different features you got in the game, but guess what? The game doesn't play. If you can't play the game, those little fucking trinkets of shit doesn't mean fuck all. It doesn't mean anything. So you need to show me gameplay, continuous gameplay, that this works. Now, I don't know if they've given early access to people. I'm recording this in the podcast at 6 o'clock at night on Tuesday. So maybe they'll release some sort of gameplay before release on Thursday morning. But at this stage, I am incredibly anxious to see how this releases. Now, I'm personally not going to get the game. I don't trust it. I don't trust that this game's going to be releasing, at the very least, releasing well. And I don't think you should be buying the game if you don't trust that this game's going to be good on launch. Because you're paying a lot of money. $89 for a game, that's from the stores. If you're getting it on the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store or PC or wherever you're getting it from because you can't get the disc version, you're beholden to whatever they sell it for on there. So I'm just going to go by the JB Hyperfire price of $90, $89.99. If that's a lot of money for a lot of people, and you got to think a lot of the people buying this game will be kids who don't have a job. Their parents are having to buy it. Imagine how they would have felt. I felt fucking horrible when I was playing the game on launch AFL23 that it did not work, and I spent $100, and it was my work money. Like, I get paid every week. Imagine a kid who gets it for a present or, just gets it from their parents, and they go up to them the next day and their parents see that the game's... I mean, a lot of parents would know that how gaming works, or at least nowadays, at least I would anyway. If I saw the game was shit, I would be fucking reputable that I spent $100 for a game for my kid to hopefully have fun, play games for the heroes that he watches every week, and watch the game be absolutely dog shit. It doesn't work. And by the way, the game didn't work pretty much all the way until now. The game works now just. And you released it at $100. You released the AFL Pro Teams, which we'll get to in a moment as well. They released that. They didn't release it until, a year or so after the game released, when they promised it would be a month after. They were going to release it with the launch, but then they told us pretty early, a couple of months before the game released, I'm pretty sure, that they were going to wait a month after the game. And then they just said nothing about it. And then they eventually released it, which is like, yeah, no one's playing this game anymore. We don't give a fuck. So, yeah, I never played Pro Teams. You could ask, I'm sure there's creators out there who played it and can tell you how it was. I was never going to spend extra money on the game. That's definitely not for me. Now, they will be releasing, they've confirmed in an article, which we get to, that Pro Teams is going to be on release. So that is good news. Well, let's hope it works. That's the thing, though. Is this going to work? Because it didn't really work when it was released because it was so late after. You want to play these games online and build these teams. I mean, I would anyway. The player base for this game is going to be very low if they don't release it doesn't have to be perfect. I would like it to be, but let's just give them a bit of a break. Let's just hope there's a couple of bugs that they just don't know about. That's all we can hope for, and that they can patch them pretty quickly. The game was unplayable when it first came out. And if the game's unplayable and online, if you bring the online aspect to the game and it doesn't work, we're in a shit show like we were last time. So the fact that they haven't showed any gameplay, the $90, they've shown, I think, 2 minutes of little snippets of gameplay, 3 minutes maybe, of snippets of gameplay. So I'm not trusting that at all, considering I went back and watched the AFL23 trailer, and there's a little bit more in this one than what it was for the AFL official 23 trailer, but there's not a lot more. I'm not banking on that. So I'm very, very cautious on this game at the moment. But to the article that I was talking about. So there was an article about a week ago done with JB Hi-Fi, talking about the game and, basically promoting it with I think it's the creator, but definitely someone involved with Big Ant. And I don't know if the interviewer was told not to talk about the poor release of AFL23, but the fact that wasn't mentioned is an absolute joke, because they haven't talked about it really at all. And that is the biggest gripe that people had with the game. You can talk about the graphics and stuff that it looks like, boxes on PS2. I get that's a funny meme and it's funny. I personally don't really care. But I also don't care about the facial tracking and shit as well. The players could look like blocks for all I care. As long as the fucking game works, I'd be pretty happy. I played it back in 2007 and whatever. I didn't care that the players were blocks, bro. I cared that the game worked and it was fun. Okay? That's what I think most people who play games want it to happen. I mean, graphics are great. That's a little add-on. But the main point of a game is to play it and have fun. You're not having fun if the game is glitchy as fuck. Some of the glitches were funny, all right? But most of them were just shit, and they fucked up the game. So that's what my big issue is. And they didn't mention that in this puff piece at all, which is something that should have been asked. And if it wasn't, that's crap on their end. And they should have at least said something regarding the game itself. But basically, they showed a bunch of new features in the article and a bunch of stuff that they've done to fine tune the game, and they've fixed some patches or whatever with the AFL23 to this one, and all great, riveting stuff. But overall, nothing that I'm banking on. So, in my opinion, final thoughts. My final opinion of this is I am not getting AFL26 now on release. I may get it in the future. I probably won't make content on it, but AFL26 as a whole, I won't be getting on launch because I think the Big Ant release of this game has been very shady, to say the least. Borderline a scam, because they've shown no gameplay. Well, sorry, they've shown 3 minutes of snippets of gameplay 2 days before release, and that would be bad enough in itself. But the last release of an AFL game that they have done was so poor that people who had early access to the game were on stream live saying, we must have got a different version because this is not the AFL23 that we played. So you can talk about you can send all the screenshots you want about different statistics in the game. You can talk about all the facial tracking that you did. If the game doesn't work, people are going to come at you and are going to hate you for it. So you would want to release a good game, especially at the price tag you're releasing it at. If you're releasing a game at $90, hell, you got some expectations to hit. And that's not just having the game, having the players look good, or, you can bump or you can tackle, or the career mode looks good. The game has to work, and it has to work well. That's my final thoughts on AFL26. Make sure to let me know if you are going to be getting the game on launch. I'm making this video just before the release of AFL26. And again, I really hope this game releases well. I really want a good AFL game. But from what they have released, it is incredibly shady that they have shown no full gameplay at all. They have shown 3 minutes of trailer that are just snippets of little AFL moments that they've been able to recreate. I want to see full gameplay before I buy it. That's why I am waiting. And that's basically my final thoughts on the game. But the flog of the week is going to Big Ant Studios because the fact that they have been so quiet on the problems with AFL23 at launch, not even giving any sort of confidence to the consumer that AFL26 will release well at launch. To say that gaming studios don't do that is ridiculous. So they should be doing it. If they want to be seen as like a good gaming studio and people can start to trust them again, then they should have came out straight away with the release of AFL26 with some sort of statement saying, we understand we messed up with AFL23's launch. We have done everything in our power to fix what we've messed up with AFL23 with the new AFL26. I think that's a fair statement to say, but let me know your thoughts if you're going to be getting the game and what you think about the game as a whole.